Hello, so welcome back to another episode. And you remember last time we were here discussing about getting our data ready with machine learning. And you remember last time we discussed about like we have to keep off missing values and then we have to clean our data, transform our data, then reduce our data. So today we are going to talk about it includes steps of cleaning data, but we are going to focus on on converting maybe non-numerical values to numerical values for machine learning that will help us in doing prediction. So let's get started here. So I'm going to import our data and I'm going to use the employee dataset. So here, let me just rename it employee is equals to pd dot read csv. Then employee.csv. So let's see what this brings here. So let me run the head of this, the header employee. That's it. Perfect. We can see here we have how many variables. The first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 variables. So here, let's say we want to predict actually the annual salary of the annual salary based on the other variables. So the first thing we are going to do is to split our dataset, right? And before we can split our datasets, I want us to look out at the type of variables that we have here. As we can know, this one is a categorical variable here, where it's categorized into female and male, and this one also is a categorical variable that's categorized into A and B. So what can we do here? So let me see. Employee dtypes. So employee dtypes. So we can see here that this one is an integer, the second one is an integer, and then object, integer object. So this object, it tells us that this one is a categorical variable. So let's split our dataset into two. That's the x and y. And for x, I'm gonna group the x. Our x will become everything except annual salary. Yes. So let's get straight to the point here. So it's gonna be x. The first one is split data here, and then x is equals to employee dot drop. So we're going to drop the annual salary, right? So annual dot salary, and here and here we have to put this, you remember. So it's gonna be the annual salary, then here the axis is equals to 1, right? So perfect. Let's see if this works fast. So and then our y variable, our y is gonna be employee, because we are trying to predict the employee salary, right? The annual salary. So it's gonna be employee, then annual salary. Yeah, it's gonna be annual salary. Yeah. So after this, the next step we have to split into training and testing. So let's do that. So the first one is gonna be x train, then x test, then y train, then y test, which is equals to train. Use the train split command here. Train test, then split. So this is gonna take the values of x, y, and our test size. The test size is normally 25%, but for this case, we're gonna use that's the default. The default test size is usually 25%, but I'm gonna put it 20% here. So here, test size is gonna be 0.2. So let's run this here. Perfect. So we got this, and we got this. So let's now try to build a machine learning. But before we can turn these, before I can show you on how we can turn these objects into numerical values, because we know that we cannot make prediction with categorical variables or non-numerical variables. It's gonna bring an error. So let me show you that. So let's build our machine learning model. So we start here. So let's build our machine learning model. So it's gonna be, so here we go from sklearn dot ensemble import random forest regressor. I'm gonna show you the reason why random forest regressor. So you remember last time we used the random forest classifier. So there's not much difference between a random forest classifier and a random forest regressor. Reason being that a random forest regressor is the same as a classifier in that, but this time a random forest regressor is used to predict a number. Yes, so let's do that. So it's gonna be model is equals to random forest regressor. Call that function. Now we come to model fit. Model dot fit x train and y train, and then we find the model score of our model. So let's try that. Model dot score of x train and y train. So let me just copy this. So there we go. So here we go. So let me try run this and show you the reason why. So let's see. So as I told you, this one is going to bring an error because some of our values here are non-numerical. And looking at the value error here, it's a colon not convert string to float. That means that we have an error here. So what do we do? The first thing we have to do is convert the gender and the training variables to numerical values. So we have to turn them into numbers, and Let me show you on how to do that. So here we go. So gonna go into turn categories into numbers, then from scalar dot pre-processing import one hot encoder. And basically what one code it applies like it just what it does, it just like groups into categories. So let us see what the one code encoder does here. So here, let's see yeah. So here, so what does one code encoder does? So an encoder categorizes features in one hot numeric array. So that's the function of one hot encoder. And then another one you're going to use is the column transfer. So it's going to be from scalar dot compose import column transformer. Here we go. Then we're going to start with the categorical features. What categorical features do we want to convert this one to? So it's categorical features so our categorical features is gonna be gender and training values. So let's enter that. It's gonna be gender and yep, I hope it was that. Let's check here. Was it training level? Yeah, training level, exactly. So that's it. And then our next thing is here to use the one hot encoder here. One hot, we're gonna call the function of one hot encoder here. One hot encoder, this one here. So let's call that. And then the other thing to do is the transformer here. Which is going to do the work here. So our transformer here, you're gonna call on the column transformer here. So let me do this and this. So and then we have to pass in a tuple list here. We have to pass in a tuple. So it's gonna be that way, then that one there. So we're gonna pass in it's gonna be called one hot here, one hot, and then here we're gonna pass in the one hot here. Okay, so let's do this. It's gonna be one hot here. Then the other one is gonna be the categorical features. So I'm gonna in the next tutorial I'm gonna show you on how we'll continue from the same point, and I'm gonna show you on how we can do this.